Hello and welcome to Sportspage. I am Brad Hadank. In this program, I will sit down with various University of Central Missouri athletes, coaches, and supporting staff. These individuals help make Mules and Jenny's athletics a success. Today, Mules football joins the show. This is Sportspage. Our first guest today is Mules football head coach Josh Lamberson. Coach Lamberson is in season number 4 as head coach for the Mules. He led the Mules to a Heritage Bowl title a season ago. The former quarterback at Northwest Missouri State has made his mark now as a Mule, both as an offensive coordinator back in the years of 2010 to 2014, and now as the head coach. Coach Lamberson, welcome to Sportspage.
Appreciate it, Brad. Thanks for having me.
I know this season, record-wise, maybe not what you had been looking for, but I always see a big smile on your face in pictures and videos. Where does that positivity come from?
I think from understanding what an incredible blessing it is to have the things that we have and get to do the things that we get to do, the platform that we've ultimately been giving. And I try to have an attitude of gratitude regardless of what a scoreboard says or what results are from a particular game. And so to know that I have the opportunity to invest in these young men, to help them for sure in between the stripes. Ultimately, that's what we get paid for, is to put a great product out on that football field and win football games. But I take it a lot deeper from the standpoint of what it is to be involved in their journey and their life each and every day, and to be very thankful for that opportunity to invest in them physically, mentally, and spiritually on a daily basis.
And something that I think ties into that is your motto, EPIC. Every person impacts culture. Could you take me through what that means to you?
Yeah, I think that no matter if you are a fifth-year senior, an All-American, or you're a scout team player, or maybe you're injured, or you're a support staff, or the head coach, or whatever the case is, I think everybody that is involved in any type of organization, but specifically our football program, has an impact on our culture. And that's what EPIC stands for. Every person impacts culture. And so with our attitudes, actions, and words, ultimately we are shaping and defining the standards of behavior that we want everybody in our program to adhere to, and ultimately, you know, what we want as a culture in our football program.
And I see Mules football giving back all the time. You look at the move-in day. Mules football players are moving freshmen in. You look at the literacy team that goes on, going to elementary schools. What do those kind of programs mean to the program for your players?
Well, understanding that, you know, we've been blessed with some incredible gifts, and with those come a platform that we have the ability to potentially give back to people that, you know, can't really necessarily do anything for us. But they see our players, they see our coaches, they see our program, if you will, up on a pedestal, and in a light where, you know, they're 18 to 22-year-old young men that are still trying to figure it out. We're coaches that are human and have feelings and do all of those things. But in the same breath, we try to go and use that platform, use that pedestal to go and impact people in a really positive way, and to say, hey, that we're going to give back to our community, specifically the younger people in our community and the people maybe in need, whenever we can. And that outreach, I think, is really important. It connects our football program with the schools, with people out in our community, that there's a relationship there, and a genuine relationship, not just a, hey, show up to the game and cheer on Saturdays, but one where, hey, we care about you as human beings and people too. And then that way we can build that genuine structure of caring for one another and teaching our guys that it's a lot more than just playing football, but using our gifts and abilities and blessings to go out and ultimately bless other people.
And you talk about pouring into your student athletes, and I know that that's a big thing for your program. How do you do that? There's so many guys on a roster. It's different from basketball where there's maybe 15 guys you focus on. How do you pour into each and every individual player?
Well, I think you have to take every day and live it like it's on purpose, right? And so then never take for granted the opportunity that you have to get to speak in front of the entire team, and not just words coming out of your mouth, but words that can be impactful for, yes, again, putting tools in their tool belt to be successful in between the stripes as a football player, fundamentals, techniques for sure, but also their life. and where they can transition from being that football player to eventually, because everybody's going to take their pads off for the last time at some point in time, right? And so eventually they're going to go out and be leaders in the community. They're going to go out and be husbands. They're going to go out and be dads and fathers, and people that other people are relying on and depending on. And so to be able to invest in them in that type of way is hard, because we have 130 guys on our roster. And so to be really intentional as you're talking to them as a group, but then also, I keep granola bars, I keep fruit snacks, I keep water in my office, and we kind of have a rule that if you're going to come in and grab something, you've got to sit on the couch and we get to talk about life. And so every day I've got kids coming into my office where we're having impactful conversations, not just about football, not just about school, but about life. And those are the things that I really look forward to.
I want to talk about this season for a second. You've faced some adversity, injuries, and you've also faced one of the toughest home schedules in the country, arguably. Colorado State, Pueblo, Pittsburgh State, Northwest Missouri State, all top 15 teams in the nation, and you're just a few plays away from taking those games. Could you take me through kind of that adversity in that home schedule?
Yeah, I think it's, adversity is just opportunity. And, that's really how our kids have framed it. And yes, the results necessarily haven't been what we wanted them to be for sure this year. And we'll rectify that. But I think if you go through each one of those games, you can't really look at it on a macro level. You've got to go and look at on the micro and the process of, throughout the week leading up to those games, and then ultimately the things that happen. And I think in each one of those games there was obviously something a little bit different specifically that prohibited us from having the results that we ultimately wanted. But if you really break it down, I think it was the execution in the very critical moments of games where we didn't. And I think a lot of that, there's a lot of different reasons. Youth experience, paying attention to details all throughout the week, and all of those things, kind of the cumulative effect of the entire process is ultimately going to dictate results. And we lacked in that a little bit this year, but very proud of our football team, because it hasn't ever been an effort, an attitude, enthusiasm issue. It hasn't been. It's been an execution issue in those types of moments.
And one of the games where your team rose up to adversity was at Fort Hays State on the road. The last 15 and a half minutes, you scored 21 unanswered. Could you take me through that matchup?
Yeah, kind of a breakthrough moment for our team, and I think one that we talk about all the time, of regardless of the circumstances. We have core values and definitions, and every single one of our definitions ends with regardless of the circumstances. And we did not play well in the first half. Our defense kind of kept us in the game because it was 10-0 at halftime. Our offense wasn't doing a lot. And, in the second half, we didn't run any different plays. We all kind of got together and took a deep breath and refocused and just kind of reset and just said, hey, let's just go out and have as much fun as we possibly can in these next 30 minutes, and did, and went out there and scored 28 points in the second half, and really capped by a 99-yard drive by our offense to seal the deal with the game-winning touchdown. And so very proud of our football team in those types of moments, because it could have been really easy to just quit and to throw in the towel and say, hey, this season hasn't been what we wanted it to be. We're out here in Hays, America. We're just going to lay down. And they really didn't, and they haven't all year. And so extremely proud of their resiliency that they've displayed, and the type of team, the type of character that we have on our roster.
And you spoke about your defense. New defensive coordinator this year in Rich Wright, previously the head coach of Northwest Missouri State. Initially, what is that like, welcoming a rival head coach into your program?
Well, I think if it's just that, it's a little bit difficult, But Coach Wright and I have known each other actually for 21 years, and so we go way back. And actually, from when I played at Northwest Missouri, and he was the strength coach, he was the defensive line coach there, and so we've had a previous relationship, and we actually got really close from a personal relationship, off the field. And so that transition, that hire, I thought was a no-brainer when the opportunity came available, and Coach Wright and his family were very excited to come to Warrensburg. And so appreciate him believing in us, believing in our mission, because he's done things at a really, really successful rate for a very long time. And we don't necessarily do everything like what he was used to doing for the past 21 years. And so he's come in with a growth mindset and embraced UCM, embraced our players, embraced our culture, and I think has added to it in such a phenomenal way.
I want to look at your time at UCM as a coach, both offensive coordinator from 2010 to 2014, and now head coach. In those prior 8 seasons prior to this year, you coached Harlan Hill Award winner Eric Cerneski in 2010, back-to-back Harlan Hill Award winner in Zach Zabrowski. Not that anyone's counting, but that's 3 of 8 times. That's 37.5% of the time that you have coached the best player eventually in the country. How do you do that?
I won't take any credit for that. You know, that I didn't throw a pass. I didn't make any of those runs or those checks. I think, you know, Eric and Zach are 2 just incredible competitors that I was extremely blessed to be a part of their journey and just happened to be associated with, you know, that side of the ball and that position. And so those 2, I think, had an innate ability to make other people better around them and elevate those guys that were on the field with them and even on the other side as well. And so I'm not going to take any credit for Eric and Zach. I think, you know, right place, right time, just like real estate. We just happened to meet up in our paths during that time frame, but incredibly blessed and very honored to be mentioned with those 2 individuals.
And another Mules football player of the past that I feel like isn't talked as much about is Brett Groupie. He was a kicker for your squad, but also a Mules baseball player. Bet you saw firsthand how difficult it is to be a dual sport athlete. Could you take me through that?
Yeah, and talk about some incredible moments in time for Brett, and, you know, being a part of the College World Series team, and then, you know, being a part of our playoff team in 23, and then our Heritage Bowl championship in 24. And so he had a lot of success as a student athlete here, but I think it did. I think, you know, the credit to him too, because he was a phenomenal student as well. And so the time management piece of that, and you're right, I don't think he gets enough credit to be an integral part of, you know, our kicking game. That's such a huge part of a football team that often gets overlooked, and you really only talk about those guys when they miss, right? It's just going and doing your job. And, you know, he did a great job for us in between the stripes, but then I know Coach Crooks was extremely happy with him, clutch hitting, clutch fielding, that he provided that Mules baseball team the entire time he was on that squad as well. So very thankful for Brett and his sacrifices and commitment to both squads.
And looking back at your time as a quarterback at Northwest Missouri State, did you ever imagine you'd be the head coach of the rival Mules?
No, I can unequivocally say that. No, but you know, in the same breath, when I was that age, 18 to 22, going through that season of life, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do or where I was going to be or how it was all going to end up. And, you know, through the hands of that are well beyond my scope of understanding and realm, you know, I've been very blessed to be in Warrensburg for 8 years now, and actually had both of my kids here. We've owned 3 houses here in Warrensburg, and it's just been an incredible journey that I've been very blessed to be at UCM and surrounded with you know, incredible people, highlighted by our president and Dr. Best and what he's done for athletics, and Dr. Hadashell, our athletic director. And so to have the alignment from the very top all the way down to my position is something that's really, really important. And I think that's one of the things that makes UCM special is the people. Because there's not a lot of people that leave UCM. You know, they come and especially the head coaches here in the athletic department, they come and they're like, well, you know, you never know how long you're going to be here. And then you look up and it's 25 years later and you're like, wow, this has been an incredible ride here at UCM.
Well, Coach Lamberson, we're about out of time, so thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Brad, I really appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Well, we will take a quick break. When we come back, we will meet Mules defensive lineman Michael Harris. Sportspage will return right after this. Welcome back to Sportspage. In this next segment, we will be joined by Mules football redshirt senior Michael Harris. Michael's a native of Overland Park, Kansas. Transferred to Central Missouri in 2023 from Southeast Missouri State. This season, he has been a major part of the Mules defensive line. Michael, welcome to Sportspage.
Thank you for having me, Brad. I appreciate it.
So, looking at your earlier days of football, what initially got you into the sport?
Man, just fun. It was just so fun to go out there and play with your boys, you know, from, you know, little league all the way through high school, just playing with your friends, man, and going to practice and joking around at practice, but also getting better and being able to see your friends get better. It's just been a blessing. So.
What did those earlier days look like for you? I know some people are flag football, then they start tackle in 3rd grade. Some don't start tackle football till middle school age, 6th, 7th grade. So what did that look like for you?
Flag football started in kindergarten. That was kindergarten, 1st grade, and then tackle started in 2nd grade, actually. So tackle all the way through middle school, and then high school, and now college. So.
So looking at the sports that you've played over your careers, was football always #1 for you? Was there ever another sport you're like, wow, this is it?
Yeah, so actually it was football in the beginning, and then I got into basketball, and I actually quit playing football in middle school. I didn't play 7th and 8th grade. I did not play football at all those seasons, and I only played basketball because I was taller than everyone. And then later on, I realized I'm not going to be that tall, so I stopped growing and came back to football. So yeah.
Was there something else that got you back into football, or just the realization that you talked about height-wise?
I did miss it, obviously, not playing for 2 years, but it was also like height, and my dad kind of telling me, hey, man, probably not going to get too much taller, so I went ahead and went back to football, and it worked out for sure. So.
I know this may be a tougher question, but looking at the sport of football, what do you really enjoy about it?
Like I said earlier, just hanging out with my friends, like being around the guys in the locker room, especially in college. It's just a different environment because you're around these guys so much more every single day, 365 days a year, really. So being able to hang out with my friends and just being around them and watch them grow, see myself grow, it's been awesome. So.
Talking about with the friends, I see plenty of antics, at least social media-wise, when you're coming out of the locker room.
Yeah.
Do you try to avoid the camera? How does that work for you?
If I don't know, if they ask something I don't know, I would try to sneak my way past and get through it. But if it's something interesting that I can give a good answer, I'll give one. But for the I'm like, I don't want to embarrass myself, so I'll walk past.
Are there any other antics that happen around the team in the locker room, on the sideline, in practice? Anything that people wouldn't see?
I mean, the locker room's always a locker room. There's always jokes going on in there, guys messing around. But when it's time to practice, we get to practice, it gets serious. And obviously on the game day, sideline atmosphere is great. Everybody's usually locked in. But in the locker room, that's definitely after practice, we're done. That's where it all goes down. So. Yeah.
Looking at your position specifically, why defense? Why the defensive line as opposed to offense?
I like to go hit people other than getting hit. That was always my thing when I was growing up. I didn't like running the ball or having to get hit. So I like to go initiate contact. And then, I don't know, I just feel like I've always been better at defensive line than offensive line. And those guys are a lot bigger than me also, offensive linemen. So being able to, use my speed and my athleticism on defensive line has been good.
Your collegiate journey began at Southeast Missouri State, then you transferred here to Central Missouri. Could you maybe take me through that experience in college?
Yeah, so went there out of high school for 2 years, redshirted 1 year there. Great start. I love that I went there to begin with. Things kind of just didn't work out, so I ended up transferring. Opportunity came here. Coach Lambo, recruited me, Coach Chambers, and came here close to home. I'm only an hour away. Just all really worked out. I love being here. I wish I came here out of high school, truthfully, to have more time here, but it's been great.
You talked about the coach's new defensive coordinator this year and Coach Rich Wright. What is it like to have a change at the defensive coordinator spot?
I mean, it's been amazing. In the sense of the things he implemented, we went from a 3-down front to a 4-down front. So for D linemen, that's all you want is more D linemen out there. So that's been awesome. And just his philosophies and the way he's done, he's been very successful in the past. So he has a lot of good ideals and good, not even things on the field, but things kind of off the field that we should be doing that maybe we weren't doing. And I think it's definitely turned our defense around significantly. So it's been awesome having him here.
Looking at the offense and the defense, those are two very distinct units on a football program. How do you interact with maybe some of the offensive players?
I think it's period. So, for example, like in fall camp, when we're just butting heads every day, offensive linemen, there might be a little bit of tension there. But once you get in the season and then rolling through the winter and everything, and you guys aren't really going against each other, it's always love. And then even in the locker room, we always joke around, and we're all good friends too. It's not really, there's no defensive guys and offensive guys when it comes to friends. We're all good friends. So.
Could you take me through a typical game day for you? So, like, when would you arrive at the stadium on a home game?
I'd get there around 7:30 in the morning. So if we have a 1 p.m. kick, usually 7:30, and then we'll go do a stretch activation, and then we'll go through our special teams and kind of last minute corrections on defense. We'll go eat breakfast, walk over the unit, eat breakfast, and then we'll do our mule walk. And that's kind of when I get back from the mule walk. That's when it's time to really lock in and get ready for the game, and then the 90 will start, and then it's game day. So.
You talk about the mule walk. That's something, a big community thing where people can line up and cheer you on. What has this community meant to this team?
It's everything. I mean, we get such a good crowd every single game, no matter what our record is, no matter what's going on in the community. Every game, people show up to the mule walk, and I could tell, you can always tell there's always great camaraderie with the community and us. Like, there's posters everywhere. There's UCM athletics in every store that you see. So, I mean, they really support us, and we can feel that.
And looking pregame, if you're listening to any music, what is the music for you?
Usually it'll be like I have a throwback playlist kind of going from like 2000, 2010s, and then as the game gets closer, I'll start putting on more recent stuff, like Lil Baby, NBA YoungBoy, stuff like that, to kind of get my mind all the way going. So yeah.
And then post-game, when the game's over, is there anything that you do post-game that people wouldn't think about?
I always make sure to go see my family, talk to them. We talk about the game, how it went, how I played, how we played. Then we'll always go out to eat, get something to eat together, hang out with my family. That's kind of number one. That's why I really, good reason I came here, to be an hour away. So they make every single game. Every game is within 4 hours at most from Kansas City. So just make sure to spend time with them after every game.
Yeah, talk to me about your family. How much of a support have they been over the course of your career?
I mean, amazing. My parents have never missed a game, football, basketball, anything I've done. They come to everything. My dad's always been, he was an athlete back in the day, so he'd always try to push me and make me better. And then my mom's always just been there for me. Anything I need, if I need anything on or off the field, she'd always, accommodate me. So.
And I know this season, record-wise, maybe not what you're looking for, but home schedule has been super tough. 3 top 15 teams in the nation. How has this team dealt with such a tough schedule?
I mean, all those teams are, like you said, really, really good teams we played against, and we're right there to win all those games. It just comes down to the details. We kind of just aren't fully aware of every single detail that we need to be. It's not an effort. It's not a talent thing. We have the effort. We have the talent. We just aren't executing at the end of the day. But we're definitely building there. We've gotten better every week. Defensively, mostly I'm speaking about. We've gotten better every single week, and we just got to be able to put all the pieces together to make a finished product.
Yeah, looking at Fort Hays State, looking at that game, the defense allowed no points through the last 15 and a half minutes to allow the offense to put up 21 and come back and win. What did that look like from the defensive side?
It was so much fun. Like just being able to, if you can shut out opponent in that time frame, it's so much fun. And then our offense, every single drive, they went out there and they show that they're still an elite offense. So being able to do that, though, was just a lot of fun. It showed our progress. It showed how, the steps we're taking to be a better defense. So it was good.
Looking at some of the other games this season, the Pueblo was at home, a night game. I know Central Oklahoma was at night. Is there a difference for you in day games, night games?
I kind of like night games because you get more time during the day to kind of get ready for it, if that makes sense. So last year we didn't really play very well at night. And then this year came and we played a little, beat UCO. Pueblo, we didn't win. It was a close game. Mo West was a night game this year. We won that game. But you kind of just get more time to prepare and sleep in if you want to sleep in a little bit more and just get your mind ready for the game for kickoff.
And after the Pueblo game, there was a fireworks show. Did you get to enjoy that at all?
I did. We looked at it. I was pretty upset, upset about the game, but we were there, me and my family. Like I said, we sit there and hang out, so we watched it, but yeah.
I want to talk about last season for a second, a Heritage Bowl title. Could you take me through that run?
At one point in that season, we were 3-3, and kind of, we could have went either way with it. You know what I mean? And we kind of said, okay, we're gonna put our foot down, and we just started winning games. And we just said, okay, we're not going to go out like this. We're not going to send the seniors out like this. And we just kept going, and then went on a 7 or 8 game winning streak, 1 or 2, and then getting to go down to Heritage Bowl, and you kind of know, like, when you know it's your last game, but at the same time, it's still fun. Like, you're still going down. It's not a playoff game, but you still want to go win really bad, you know what I mean? So being able to go take that trip with those guys was a lot of fun.
And one of the key players last year was quarterback Zach Zabrowski, and everyone knows the name Zabrowski. But I want to ask you, this may be tough for you, defensively. Is there someone that sticks out in your mind that people didn't talk about that maybe they should have?
I don't know. He just, I can't really tell. He likes to talk, and that's the thing with him is some people can talk and not back it up, but if he started talking, the thing is he would back it up. And then we get home. I was actually his roommate for a year. We lived together for a year, his first year here. And we'd get home and we'd start talking stuff about practice, and he would still continue the conversation from practice at home. And but he's a competitor, man, and there's not too much that we could have done to stop him. So.
And on the defensive side, have there been any big mentors in your career, whether at UCM or prior coaches, players, anybody like that?
I'll say right now it's definitely been Coach Wright. He kind of came in January and just completely turned my mindset of how to play defensive line and different techniques and things I've honestly never heard of before. So he's been a big one. And then back in my previous school, there was an older defensive lineman, Bryson Donnell. He's 4 years older than me, so I don't know what I haven't talked to him in years, but I mean, watching him play my freshman and sophomore year, I'm old school. He was really, really good player and taught me a lot of things. So
another thing that the Mules football program does is gives back to the community. One thing that comes to mind is moving in the freshman move-in day. It must be a long day for you all as you're carrying stuff up and down those flights of stairs. Could you take me through that experience?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we are helping people, and that's what really matters. We are helping them. It's not the most fun thing to be out there and moving the mini fridges up and the TVs up, but being able to help the freshmen. Because I remember I moved in by myself and we going up all those flights of stairs, and there's people a lot smaller than me having to carry those stuff up. So being able to help those those people is awesome. And then their parents, oh, thank you so much. They try to give us like, no, like we don't need anything, like we don't need lunch or anything. Just we just wanted to be out here to help you guys. So it's a good feeling.
If something doesn't come to mind, that's okay. But is there anything that you had to move up there that you're like, this is wild that someone has on campus?
I had to move a futon on once, which is like, I mean, it's not too crazy, but it was me and another defensive lineman had to move it up. And we had to go to the 4th floor, all stairs, and it was like, why are we bringing a couch in the dorms? Because there wasn't even that much room. We put it in there. I was like, I don't know where you put this at. So I hope they figured it out, but it was not fun to move that one up.
So we talked about the moving day experience. Is there any experience that sticks out in your mind that's been so fun at UCM?
Man, winning the Heritage Bowl actually was a lot of fun. Because it was raining. We won in double overtime. And just going down there and being able to win that game, the celebration after, and seeing all the seniors' faces, because it wasn't even more obviously they were upset we lost or upset they were done playing, but at the same time the joy of we won our last game, and so that was a lot of fun.
Are there any hobbies outside of football that you can be caught enjoying on any given day?
I'm a big movie guy. I like watching movies a lot, and then also play video games a good amount still. But big movie guy. I like Marvel movies. I watched all the whole MCU, so I'm big into that. That's kind of my thing.
And while we have just a few more moments, if there was something that you could tell our viewers about this Mules football program, what would you want them to know?
That everyone in this program, if they're the time in the program and after, they genuinely care about not just UCM, but Warrensburg as a whole. We care about things that go on in the community. We love the people in the community that come and support us, and I just want everyone to know, if they come to a game, we truly appreciate that. Everybody truly appreciates that, and we wouldn't want it any other way. So, yeah.
Well, Michael, thank you for taking the time to join the show today.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
That's all of the time we have for this episode. I'd like to thank our guests, Coach Josh Lamberson and Michael Harris, for joining me today. My name is Brad Hadank, and thank you for watching Sportspage.